here with you guys today. This morning's sermon is, we're talking about the rock because, Jesus, obviously we're talking about Jesus here, but we're also talking about it because it's kind of our theme for Bible school. So I thought it would be a good time to bring that up while we're going through that. I want to first, and I know that we've kind of we've mentioned this before, but I want to make sure that we kind of take a moment here to definitely recognize, I know Barbara for sure, Becky, Lynn, for the work that they're putting in for this Bible school. Honestly, I'm not kidding you. When I take stuff home to my own kids and they start opening up stuff, it's amazing what's in there. I mean, it blows my mind. It's better than any Bible school package I've ever seen that you can buy online or whatever, anywhere. I mean, it's got a ton of stuff in it. I know our kids are enjoying doing it, and being able to still pull off a Bible school during this time that we're in, I think that's worth some recognition and maybe even a little hand clap for these ladies. Very, very impressed with all the work that's going into that. It's kind of funny. Some people from the church where Gail and them go to, they were like, "Wow, this is really neat. This is a great idea." And they're like, "Someone put a lot of work into this to have this 1 week of Bible school." And Gail's like, "Nope, there's like 4 more coming." Like, are you kidding me? This is crazy. All right, so we definitely want to thank those ladies for all the hard work and effort and time that they've put into planning all those things and putting those things together. We certainly do appreciate that.
You mentioned just a few, but I want to thank everybody for bringing in materials and things. Because
Sure.
the whole emphasis is not just on the rock, but on recycle, so that we can help save the earth. That's one of the things.
Definitely, absolutely.
I have a question. Are you recycling just water and like pop bottles, or do you want milk jugs, coffee creamer bottles? I'm getting these questions and I don't know how to answer them.
As long as it's clear, I don't have to sort it. I'm being lazy.
Right.
Okay? But I will take anything in plastic you bring because I really don't. That's one thing I don't like going back into the earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But since Rebecca was in 4th grade, so we've done recycling, and it's just really.
I know the one guy said he had been saving milk jugs, coffee creamer bottles, and all kinds of things. So I said, I don't know, let me see.
Some of it, I'm sorry.
You go right ahead. We're good.
Some of the containers were planned to make a terrarium, and some of the containers are clear. And if you folks don't want them back, I will recycle those also. If that's okay.
I've been smashing the water bottles. Is that okay?
Oh, anything. Clear.
Okay.
I mean, I go to Ellenboro, and they take batteries, they take everything.
All right. And we've also already mentioned this a lot this morning, but I think it's something worth mentioning again and something that we need to recognize as a church. It's kind of a big deal when a student athlete selected a team captain of a team. And I was very, very pleased to see the paper and see the report with our own Charlie being the team captain. Maybe if you've never played on a team before, you don't really know. So that's nice as a team captain, but I don't know how y'all do it. But our team captains, the coaches get a say, but it's the athletes who actually vote for the captains. And I don't know how do y'all do it, Charlie? The team, yeah. So his peers pick that. You see what I'm saying? So that's a big deal. So let's give him another round of applause. Very, very proud of your accomplishments there, and obviously wish you the best for this year.
I'd like to say to Tim and Pam, it's proud examples of good parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen them here at the church for quite a while.
Yep.
And if there's anybody to be an example, they show it.
Absolutely.
So they need a hand.
Absolutely. I know that the 4 team captains that we have on our football team this year come from households where, you can tell the kids are a product of
It started at age when it was born.
Absolutely.
Raising them.
Definitely, for sure.
And we got another couple behind us, too.
What's that?
We got another couple behind us, Tamara and Dan, too. Got lots of church couples that are good.
Oh,
I'm doing a really
Becky
good
and
job.
Phil. Dan Finnegan.
No comment. She'll comment later. Oh my goodness. Anyway,
As a coach, Dan's kind of partner with us in parenting too,
Sure.
so.
absolutely. Yeah.
We couldn't have done it without Dan.
It takes a village, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he partners with them and then we're left behind. It's all.
Oh! Better
Let's
get,
to the
better
message
get
point.
started.
Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7, we're going to start with verse 24, a very familiar passage and probably a passage that I've preached on, probably even here before. But like I always say, if I can't remember, you probably don't. So I know that I preached this message somewhere at some time before, or anyway, a similar concept. It's never always the same exactly. But we're in Matthew chapter 7, starting with verse 24. It says this, and this is Jesus speaking, and he says, "Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell. And great was the fall, and great was its fall." May God add a blessing to the reading of the word. Obviously, it's a very simple concept. It's very easy for us to understand what Jesus is trying to say here, but it is much more difficult for us to truly apply this to our own lives, to our daily life, to our daily walk with the Lord. Again, it's easy to understand, but a little harder to do. And as we take a deeper dive into what Jesus was saying here, when he says, he says, "Whoever hears my words and does them." Okay, now that's a key. Okay, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them. Okay, now because it's easy to hear, hear a message, hear a good word, hear the word of God. It's easy to hear that. And I know I'm guilty of this, and I've done this many times throughout my life. I've heard a message that has completely stirred my heart. It really has touched me. I'm sitting there and I hear someone preaching, I'm like, it's almost felt like, they're preaching right to me. And I can say, "Ooh, yeah, that's right. I need to fix that, or I need to, whatever." And then, but I would get up and feel that way, and I'd walk out that door, and by the time I got to my car, most of that's gone. And then I just go on about my daily life, and nothing really changes. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not enough just to hear the word. We actually have to apply it. We actually have to do it. Okay? And that's what Jesus was saying here. It says, "Whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock." Now, what Jesus is saying here is we need a firm foundation. Okay? No matter, see, in this day and age that we live in, there's no doubt that we're really starting to see the difference between the rock and the shifting sand and the life that we're experiencing right now. See, for so many years prior to the year 2020, for so many years it was just kind of, you could build on either one really, because there wasn't a whole lot going on, and it wasn't a whole lot of trouble really, there always has been trouble, and there always will be trouble, but it just seems like this year everything's coming to a head, it seems like, and it just, we've got hurricanes hitting coasts, we've got this and that and the other, racial tension, we've got, the coronavirus thing going on, and it just seems like there's just so much stuff that's piling up on us, and there's definitely now a big difference between the rock, who's Jesus Christ, and the shifting sand, which is everything else. The Bible clearly tells us that, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Okay? There's no circumstance that we will ever face within our lifetime that would ever change that fact. Jesus is the same. Rock solid. Okay? Rock solid. When a young man gets picked by his peers to be a team captain, it's because they look at him to be a rock solid figure that's going to be able to lead the team in good times and bad. They're going to be rock solid in their commitment to the team. See, the circumstances wouldn't change that, you know? And it's the same way with who Jesus is, this foundation that we need to build everything we do upon. Everything we do. Because, you know, the Bible tells us, don't lay up treasures here where moth and rust corrupts. Lay up your treasures in heaven. You know, that's what really counts. At the end of the life, at the end of your life, at the end of the day, you know, where have you been trying to lay up your treasures? Because if we're just trying to build up a whole bunch of stuff here on earth, that's on the shifting sand. Okay? And I know I've shared this with you before, but I remember growing up as a kid. This has always stuck with me. And I know I've told you this story, but I'm sorry to repeat it, but I just can't help it. There was this lady that went to my dad's church when I was growing up, you know, and her name was Granny Richards. That's what we called her. I don't know I have no idea what this lady's first name was. It was Granny to me. Granny Richards. And Granny Richards was just like Granny off the Beverly Hillbillies. Little, kind of shriveled up a little bit, probably would beat you with a broom, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, that was her, okay? But she would always say, every time she ever said anything in church, she would usually always end that by saying, and just remember, there's not going to be a U-Haul attached to your hearse when you die. I mean, you know, there's not. Okay? There's not, you don't get to take it with you. Okay? I mean, sure, they could dump stuff in there. I mean, the Egyptians used to put all that stuff in the tombs and all that. Well, okay, that's great, but you're not really taking it with you, you know? Okay? So, and I know that I'm guilty of this in my own life, that I work and I strive and I'm trying to gain and gain and gain, but really at the end of the day, what have I really laid up on the rock in the eternal, you know, for the eternal treasure? What have I really accomplished in the day? You see, far too often, I spend so much time trying to lay up things that is going to corrupt, that's going to rust, that's going to fade, that's going to be on that shifting sand that when the hurricane comes, it's just going to get wiped out. And then what have I really accomplished? Okay? Spend too much time in those situations. Because everything we do should be built on the rock, Jesus Christ. You see, I've had, I tell you, because, you know, you guys know the story here. My good friend, well, I guess I still call him my good friend. He's an acquaintance, Adam.
That's not nice.
I mean, we know each other. No, we're, you know, we don't get to see each other very much. He's real busy, I'm real busy, but, you know, we've always been, you know, good friends, and he was my offensive coordinator for a few years, and that's probably the most fun I've had for a while with him being around. You know, he was just really stupid, and we had fun, and in a good way, you know, but we had a lot of fun, okay? But, you know, how he got me roped into this. You know, he really did. When it comes down to it, when he was the pastor here and he had to leave, he would say, "Hey, can you fill in for me?" And, you know, and sure, and that's kind of how this whole thing all started. You know, so I blame Adam for everything. And it's pretty accurate for most of it. Okay, he about killed us a few times. I've told you some of those stories. But anyway, you know. But I will say this. You know, I can just see how God's hand has kind of been through all of this, and I can say that. For me, when I was just lay speaking and just, you know, speaking here and there, you know, then when it came time for football coaching, I mean, whoo, that was my zone. And I still got to fight that. All right, I'll tell myself. All right. Let me tell this story. I'm sorry. Let me give you a backstory. Okay. Yesterday, as Mike mentioned, we had an afternoon wedding for his daughter, Nikki. And it was on top of this hill. It was a beautiful view, and when, you know, it's breezy, it's comfortable underneath that shade tree where we had this. It was nice. They wanted short and sweet. I was under 10 minutes. You're welcome. Okay, that's what they wanted. That's what they got. And so, you know, we had the wedding, and I told Mike, said, you know, I don't want to be rude, but as soon as this is over, I've got a lot of stuff I need to do football-wise, and I need to, you know, kind of get out of here. And, you know, so Mike helped me back up, get out of there without hitting anybody. I kind of, you know, ducked out of there when it was over. And called Gail. I knew she was supposed to be in town somewhere school shopping with the kids or something. Said, hey, I'm done. Probably gonna head home. She's like, oh, well, we're right here at Kohl's. Why don't you just stop in? Okay. So I went into Kohl's, and then she's like, well, we need to make a quick stop at Walmart. Okay. We drive down to Walmart. And she's like, oh, while you're here with the truck, I need to get some mulch. Would you care if we run over to Lowe's and get them? Okay. Then on the way out, oh, Allie wanted to check this other shoe store right here. That one down there, Shoe Show, Shoe Carnival, whatever it is right there. She's like, let's stop in there. You don't even have to go in. Just if you don't care, just wait on me, follow me home. Okay? So by the time I got home, Mike, I should have just stayed at the wedding and ate some food and just talked to people. Because by the time I got home, I mean, it was getting late today, and I was, knew I had to get a bunch of work done. Aggravated, frustrated, kind of what Tamara was talking about. I know you guys can relate to this story. I had to get some work done. I was trying to get some things done. And then there's a teenage daughter, obviously, in our house, and telling them, stay off your phone, because our internet out where we live, it works okay if one person's on the internet, but if two people gets on the internet, that's a problem for our internet. So you stay off your phone so I can get some, because, the film's on the internet now, and Huddle and all this stuff, so I'm trying to do some stuff, and then it starts just sitting there loading, starts spinning. Allie, sorry, I forgot, for the whole evening, and so just frustrating. So I've still got a lot of stuff to do, and I might have became a little bit irritated and grumpy about 11:30 last night. Possibly. I don't know. You could ask Gail, she'd probably say no. But no, I was getting aggravated. Trying to get, how it feels, everyone knows how it feels. You have some stuff you need to get done, and it just seems like stuff keeps happening to keep you from doing that. And sometimes you get aggravated, frustrated, and all these things.
We understand and support you.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Brother Dan.
I don't support you at all.
We're going to make a support group, Dan. We'll just have to have a support group. But anyway, here's my point. I actually handled it way better than I wanted to, if that makes sense. Because I was inside, I was just mad. All right, I was done, aggravated. But I just, I didn't handle it. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, hey, like I've said, I'm the pastor of Murphytown Baptist Church. I'm the pastor of Murphytown Baptist Church. I keep sometimes, boy, you can't just act the way you want to, dummy. God's trying to help you be better, right? And so I handle things better than I used to. I'll put it that way. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I have to, because of my job here, it forces me to dig into the Word of God and try to hear from Him on what He wants me to tell you. So see how much that helps me? So you see what I'm saying? It's not that I don't just I don't take this position lightly, and I don't just come up here and throw something out. I try to hear from God what He wants, so I dig and I listen, and it really helps me, okay, put perspective on things. Because again, like I was saying, now to get back to what I was saying, used to be when it was football season, if I was just lay speaking somewhere, I'd be like, whatever, it's football season. And that's all I would think about. All I would think about was football, winning, or losing. That's it. Okay? But now see, God's kind of changed my perspective. He's allowing me to see that even though winning obviously is important, but it's really about the relationship you have with those kids and introducing them to this lifestyle that, we had our seniors come into the school yesterday morning to get their pictures taken for the banner things that they do, and I was able to tell them, and I love just throwing stuff out there sometimes. Yep, I gotta go do a wedding today. They're like, what? Yeah, you can do that? I'm like, yeah. I'm a pastor of a church. See, they just can't get that in their heads. They don't see me as that, right? They see me with a hat on and a whistle. Come on, what are you doing? But every once in a while, I just like to throw those things in there to remind them, yeah, that's right. I am so it's just kind of those little things like that they see, and I'm able to kind of build that relationship with them and kind of incorporate God into things, as much as possible there. But it's just, that's kind of my focus, if that makes sense. Like, what I'm trying to do is put football and coaching and put that foundation on the rock, if that makes sense. Instead of the wins and losses, which is just shifting sand. Okay? I'm trying to put that relationship that I'm able to build with those kids on the rock and base it upon God. Base it upon, showing them that there's more to life than football. Okay? And just trying to show them that. And so to make a long story even longer, what I'm trying to do then is to do everything about me. I'm trying to just build it on the rock. Trying to make God the center and the foundation of everything, not just some things. Because I've lived most of my life with God things over here and football things over here. See what I'm saying? And so now I'm trying to take all my things and put them on the rock. All right? And I'm telling you that that's what God wants us to do. That's what God really does want us to do. Take everything about us, our careers, our jobs, our families, everything, and make the foundation of everything